In the past, LEGO and Star Wars has always given us some iconic sets to always be remembered. We're talking the Millennium Falcon, the AT-AT Walker, which is one of my favorites to be honest with you, the Imperial Destroyer, as well as the R2-D2 Anniversary Edition. That's another personal favorite of mine. But today we're actually talking about the most controversial set that just got announced, the LEGO Star Wars Death Star. Now at first glance I didn't have too many gripes with this because I thought they were going in one direction, and to be honest with you, they went in a whole nother direction, and I too can see the frustration. Now, of course, I'm not the biggest LEGO Star Wars collector. I actually technically only have 2 LEGO Star Wars pieces in my collection currently, which is the LEGO Star Wars logo, as well as my General Grievous, which I would hope that they would redo sometime soon. However, I still have a big love for LEGO Star Wars. I am still a Star Wars fan, and to be honest with you, LEGO and Star Wars is one of my first sets that I ever picked up, so this is near and dear to my heart. So let's talk about the controversial LEGO Death Star and why it's not that good. And for those who don't know me, my name is Isaiah Barlow, and this is my LEGO room, my video diary of all things LEGO, from sets, reviews, to even talking about controversial Death Star takes. So if you guys like this type of content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all my new videos. Let's get right into this. So like I said, I am not the biggest LEGO Star Wars collector. I leave that to other creators on this platform. However, I do have a love for LEGO and Star Wars, and there's some things I just don't build because they would take up too much time or too much space in my room. I would need another space. You get the picture. So things like this Death Star were not on my radar to purchase. So when I heard that it was coming out, I was actually excited to see a new set come out from LEGO and Star Wars, particularly a new Death Star set. I knew it was going to be something different, and I just didn't know what they were going for. And so when I looked on social media and saw the controversy, I was kind of confused because I had thought, right, that it was still a Death Star, right? Which, I mean, it is. It is a Death Star. However, if you guys don't know, it's more like a Death Disc. As you guys can see, originally I thought the images were showing us that this was like the inside of the Death Star, and it like opens up. That's what I assumed it was. However, this is what the set is actually. Now, this is also LEGO's first $1,000 set, if I'm correct. I believe it is LEGO's first $1,000 set. So this is a hefty price for what you're receiving, right? Shouts to Solid Brick Studios. I did watch his review on this. It is a fairly big set. It definitely will take up space in your room, so don't feel like you're not getting enough pieces, right? That's what I heard, that you're not missing out on the amount of pieces you're getting, right? And I do think it's really cool that they're showing this inside of the Death Star. I think they're kind of playing off of the Batman logo opening box, if you guys remember that set as well. However, one thing that I too would be a little frustrated on if I were to be paying $1,000 or waiting for an $1,000 set, and also waiting for a new Death Star set, is the fact that I thought this would be opening up. Now, had it done that, that would be so cool. That we would have, you know, you could probably space out the way the rooms are a little bit differently, because you could, you know, put some on the other half of the Death Star, but that's not what they chose to do. The designers decided to give us, you know, an inside look of the Death Star, which I saw that it's really cool that you can maneuver different parts of the Death Star. You can do different things. There's a lot of things you can do with this set, which I think is really, really cool. And to be honest with you, it does look really cool, like on display, like it is right here. It looks fairly awesome. However, and you also get a bunch of freaking minifigures. Like, you get a lot of minifigures, which I love that about it. Like, I think that's super cool that you get a lot of stormtroopers. You get Luke in the black cloak. You also get Luke in the New Hope look. There's a lot of versatility here with this set, and I think it's really cool that you have Emperor Palpatine's like ship. That's really, really dope. I think that's really awesome. And to be honest with you, the box looks really awesome in my opinion. The box looks fantastic. So presentation probably would be an amazing score, even coming from me. But I do understand where a frustration would come from having a set like this. Like, if you see the back right there, the back is just the back. There is no like flair to it. It's just the back. You know what I mean? There's no circle. They didn't add any, you know, curvature to it to make it protrude out a little bit more, or really show that it's a sphere. And I think that could have been a problem. Now, this video is not just for me to rag on the Death Star, because I do believe there are some parts that are amazing of it and that are really cool. It really showcases like pretty much every different movie about the Death Star, which is really, really cool. I think that's an awesome piece about it. Even Rogue One, right? However, I do think this opens up a larger conversation about us critiquing LEGO and how much we have to go hard. So, because I do think online there was a lot of yelling about how terrible of a product this was and how nobody will buy it. Which I do think is very true. I think it is rightfully so. You don't necessarily need to buy this one, because even like the laser is just like, But I don't think it's worth to say that nobody will buy this set. I do think people who have the capital for this set will go out and buy it. Now the question is, Lego, how much money do you want us to keep spending? Because this set is $1,000, and I don't feel like you get everything you should get from it. In the past, we had different Lego Death Stars. I mean, they didn't have as much detail as this one would, which I do think the detail is really cool. However, I feel like there could have been more work on it being maybe a half and a half situation where it closes and opens, and I thought that would be really cool. And to be honest with you, I think that kind of justifies the $1,000 price point, because I do think the designers would take a long time to work on a set like that and actually put their time and efforts on the mobility of it, being able to open and close like smoothly. It could be on a display. Like, I think there would be a lot of I think there'd be a lot of hard ways that set could come to life. And I would see somebody paying $1,000 or even maybe $1,200 for that type of set. But with a set like this, it kind of makes you feel like, what did you get for $1,000? I think the AT-AT is a classic Lego set. Like, I don't think there's any denying how classic the AT-AT Walker is. But I feel like that price point, and I'm not sure what the price point was for the Lego AT-AT. I'll probably put it on the screen here. But for $400? $400? That was just, it was 2008. It was in a recession. I get it. People just had to buy a set for no reason. But to me, it probably justified the times of when that set came out and why it was so expensive. Because I think that set is so iconic and has so much depth to it. It deserves to be that price point. And I think a Death Star can get to that point where it's justifiable to have a high price point, a high barrier to entry. But this one, to me, it feels like this is only for people who are older, people who are Lego Star Wars fans from, 4, 5, and 6, and it kind of ostracizes everybody else because they're not supposed to be liking it. And that's not a problem with this Lego Death Star. It's that it feels like it's so many pieces, it's a lot of money, it's fairly large. It's going to take you a long time. This is for the older people who really like 4, 5, and 6, and that's what this is for. And I feel like from there, that's where Lego missed the mark. They're taking advantage of there's other people who want to build this, and they don't have to make it crazy money. Or if you do want to make it crazy money, give us more. Just give us a smidge more when it comes to the 2 halves. If you want to make it a higher price point, I understand, but I see why people could hate on this set. But I do think some of the hate, not all the hate, but some of the hate is because we will never be able to buy this set because it's so freaking expensive. And that does deserve a little hate. Let me know what you guys think about the new Lego Star Wars Death Star down in the comments below. Let me know if there's a Lego set that you believe is too expensive, that you feel like should be a little bit cheaper, that Lego is doing too much. But just give me all your engagement that you feel about this Lego Death Star down in the comment section below. My name is Isaiah Barlow. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all my new videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.